How's it going, fish folk? Those of y'all who are new to my channel, my name's Austin, and this is Fintastic Freaks. Give or take around a month at this point, we recently got one of the most rare puffers, if not probably for sure the most rare freshwater puffer here in the fish room. Of course, I'm talking about none other than the crown jewel itself, the Cross River Puffer. Also known as a redline puffer, if that's more familiar to you. So now that it's been around a month's time here that we've had him down here in the fish room, figured it's time to give a little update on our crown jewel puffer here. And the redline, or Cross River Puffer, currently lives inside this 75-gallon tank. And there's the lively little fish right there. A lot more social and active than it was the last time we saw him. Or her, I guess. We don't really know for sure right now. And I can hear some people thinking or saying it now. Gee, that kind of just looks like a young fahaka, to be honest. Well, they are both native to freshwaters throughout Africa, so they do share a number of similarities. But however, it is common for this very uncommon fish to, especially in its juvenile stage, almost look identical to a fahaka puffer. And while you may not be able to see it very clearly on the camera, especially since it's trying to hunt down some shrimp as I record, but there are some faint red spots on this little puffer. They can have red spots or red lines. It's kind of interesting that they can have two different patterns, but as it grows bigger and older, this little puffer red color will become more noticeable and hopefully very vibrant as well there. As you can see here, one of them things outside of snails and live shrimp that it was just chasing around, and some bloodworms. It also loves to feast on some frozen krill here. And if you can look a little closer there, it's kind of hiding himself by the sponge filter. Still don't think it knows quite what to think about my camera. But definitely not as skinny as the last time we saw it. Its appetite has gotten tremendously better since we've gotten it down here in the fish room. At first it was only eating bloodworms, and before the first week went through, took out pretty much all the, at least most of the snails that were inside this tank. I still throw some in there once in a while, and this little puffer chomps them down in no time. Still plenty of ghost shrimp in here yet. Don't think it's quite big enough to take those down, or in terms of take those down by catching up with them. They are very fast little shrimpies. But in the meantime, as you can clearly see, appetite has gotten tremendously better, and this little puffer appetite just keeps getting bigger and bigger as time goes along. In terms of other parameters, as you can see, I got a couple of sponge filters in here. That's a 60-gallon grade right there. That one right there is a 120-gallon grade, and then we got a 90-gallon grade hang on the back filter here. So a good amount of filtration, as I like to do with my puffers as usual. Plenty of filtration is my key tip for really any species of puffer, and the Cross River will be no different. In terms of water temperature, I keep it in the higher 70s, currently reading about 78 degrees, which is a pretty ideal temperature for an African water puffer. And speaking of similarities with the fahaka earlier, another similarity is that this is another puffer that will grow over a foot long before its growth spurt is all said and done. They don't get quite as big as a fahaka. A fahaka in the wild can grow to about 18 inches or greater, depending on who you ask. Some will even say it can grow closer to 2 feet. This Cross River puffer, by the time it's all said and done, will still get over a foot, but usually maxes out somewhere between 14 to 16 inches. In aquaria, you can expect it to max out more around the 14-inch range, which is still a pretty good size puffer.
Wow!
So with this little puffer's potential size in mind, this 75-gallon tank here will serve for a very good amount of time. One might argue that, yeah, I guess if you didn't have too much decor in here, it could work for its lifetime. I'm definitely thinking that no. At some point, though, I'm definitely going to give this little puffer an upgrade. Granted, that's not going to have to be for quite a while, as of course the 75 will provide a good amount of space for a fish that can grow to a little over a foot. At some point, I think we'll probably get this little puffer something like a 120 or a 125, but that's a little ways down the road because, as you can see, it's currently still just a wee little baby and has a lot of growing yet to do. And a little fun fact about our little puffer here is this is one of the few first ever captive bred cross river puffers. And if you remember from one of my past videos where we initially got this little puffer, these puffers are not easy to find at all. In fact, it's easily the most rare freshwater puffer out there. So given the fact that someone had not one but two of these and then successfully bred some, which puffers are not the easiest fish to breed whatsoever here, especially one that probably has such little information out there currently on it, is nothing short of incredible, guys. And I said this in my last video and I'll say it again, I have to give a huge thank you to Al and the Fish Fix for making this happen. There were more people involved in this than just Al, but for Al, a huge thank you to just getting this at his store. These puffers traveled for over 50 hours of time just to get to their local stores, as, like I said earlier, this is the first ever batch of captive bred puffers. And I mean, like I said, this is the holy grail, the crown jewel of all freshwater puffers. And over the past decade or so, when honestly freshwater puffers started to kind of become a niche, they were super hard to keep back then because obviously we didn't have the same medicines to deal with internal parasites and such. Thus, even when you did find this rare puffer, they usually proved very difficult to keep because they'd almost always be wild caught. And even on the rare occasions where they were wild caught, yeah, you'd always have to try to treat for parasites and such. But now, fortunately, today we have better technology to help at least better treat those. And the fact, like I said earlier, that someone had not one but two of these and now has successfully bred some of these puffers here and is shipping them out to just very select few stores here in America is, it's crazy that the Fish Fix was able to get, you know, some of these puffers. And to Al and his wife there at the Fish Fix, thank you so much for making this happen and helping me get one of my top dream fish here in the fish room. But that, guys, is a little update on the cross river puffer. And the last thing I will say is, I always say that sometimes we need to come up with a name. I decided to name the puffer Cipher since, honestly, there's not a whole lot of information still out about this puffer. So it's kind of mysterious. And as I said, I've kind of been on a Gravity Falls binge currently. So, yeah, it might be named after Bill Cipher a little bit. But Fish Fam, let me know what you thought of this little cross river puffer video here. The update gave some little care tips, or at least how I'm taking care of it currently. Definitely gonna have some more videos on this little guy in the future because it's an awesome fish, and we'll definitely be sharing some updates as it grows and matures. And if we move it into another tank, obviously we'll have some updates on that as well. But guys, leave a comment down below. What do you think of this puffer? It's I think it's coming along nicely there, and I can't wait for it to get bigger and, as I said earlier, start showing that beautiful red color that makes these cross river puffers so amazing to have. And of course, if you're new to my channel and have not done so already, consider clicking the subscribe button to stay in the loop with everything I do here. Fish room updates such as this, fish updates like this, and plenty more coming up here down the road. As always, guys, thank you so much for watching this video and supporting my channel here. Each and every one of y'all are appreciated. I will see you all in my next video, Fish Fam. Stay fantastic.